All right, good day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another of the Fuel Show. So this evening, or today, depending on what time you're listening to this, we are bringing back on a new repeat co-host here in 2018. This gentleman aired on our show not too long ago. We actually aired him on the Christmas holiday here in the US of A, December 25th. He was episode 137. We titled him The Wim Hof Inspired Purpose Through Masculine Practice. So I'm going to give you a quick refresher. The guy's been a corporate ladder climber, been there, within the advertising technology space, turned catalyst for change in the way the world identifies with and experiences masculinity. He's got a much bigger bio for you. You can go back and read it on 137. I'll have it again on this episode of the blog content. But because he's a repeat co-host, we're going to start flowing a little more excitingly here. So without further ado, welcome back to the show, Travis Roznos.
Stoked to be here.
You're
Thanks,
stoked,
Scott.
and you are now officially in Austin, Texas. So congratulations.
Austin resident. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quick refresh for our listeners.
Thank
If you do go back and listen to 137, he had not arrived yet. He was in that state of transition for his lifestyle.
Yes.
And actually,
In Austin, Texas, and popping around. I can't get my hands on.
See what I'm doing here?
Yeah. There you go. I got
Coming
mine
over
too.
the microphone here.
Yeah.
Listen to it. It's so good.
Yeah. But I'm in Austin, Texas, and I'm so stoked to be here.
That's awesome,
perfect for my lifestyle.
So Austonians don't mind a little coffee?
Nah. It's all about the hipster vibe. You know,
I wish I can get the
went out and
camera
I got
angle.
denim shirt immediately. I couldn't get a denim shirt fast enough to I had to blend in. You know?
Where's the boots?
Oh, they're in my closet.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I will say I've been to Texas, and the boots can get expensive. I mean, you want a legit pair of cowboy boots, man.
Right.
You're
I know.
dropping what?
I know.
600? I mean,
Yeah. I found my way somehow with a girl to into like the true two-step cowboy experience on New Year's Eve. Kid you not?
damn,
me in
that's
there.
how you rang in Austin, Texas, try to learn the two-step.
I'm two-stepping with this girl and these guys, and it's like almost like part club. A lot of these people have their roots grounded in this club, and they're always doing this. And, you know, I have Southern roots. I was born in Oklahoma, but it was
All right, you got some Midwest vibe there.
It was years and years and years ago, right, where I had cowboy boots and like my mother couldn't get them off my feet, but like, you know, so young. And so I step into this environment and I've got a nice like jacket. Like we were going to go somewhere else and she threw a curveball on me like last minute.
Hey.
She's really big into this dancing. So I get in
Quick
there.
life lesson to the listeners. Sometimes the curveballs, you just got to flow with it, man.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, these guys are looking at me, you know, they were nice, but there was definitely like this divide in like style and like, you know, everything. But turns out I'm not very good at two-stepping.
Well, hold on. Was that officially your first time as an adult trying to pull off a two-step?
Yeah.
As well as in Texas, mind you.
Yeah.
Okay. So was it a full embarrassment opportunity or just
No, it was mostly embarrassing. I tried to go on.
Are we talking exponential?
No, it didn't compound. They kind of got over it. They're like, yeah, he's not very good at that. We're going to do our own thing. But I tried to go on when there's a lot of people on the dance floor to sort of blend in, you know?
Okay. See, now that two things could have happened from that. The vibe was so powerful that, yeah, you could have been masked and nothing was going on. The flip side of it is all of a sudden they just saw what you're trying to pull off, and next thing you know, maybe like a dance circle opens up and everybody's staring at you. So it could have gone a couple different ways.
It was so fun. It was a great time. It was a great experience to like test like how can I like lead also when I didn't know what I was doing. So I found it to be actually pretty profound for me because I didn't know what I was doing, and she understood that I wasn't in, you know, I haven't been in that space yet, but she still like allowed me to lead when I could, and so it was really interesting actually.
Well, so that it's kind of funny how we all, I think anybody's into personal and professional development, we talk about how it's so crucial to get more and more out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this, ladies and gentlemen, actually on our last episode 137 with him, because this guy's a follower of the Wim Hof method, and not just a follower, but actually a teacher in the Wim Hof method.
Yes,
And for you
sir.
ladies and gentlemen who don't know what Wim Hof is, a quick skinny on it is go on Instagram, go on Google, and do WIM space HOF. Actually, it probably comes back as one word too, because the guy's crazy, man. He's leading people with people like Travis into a very cold elements,
Yeah.
stripping you down half naked. You do that yourself. And then you basically are learning to embrace the cold climates and
Yeah.
building up that mental and physical resiliency, getting out of your comfort zone.
Big time. Yeah, I'd say one of the most practical ways for listeners at home to actually build resilience. People talk about resilience a lot, and it's, what do you white knuckle it? What do you do to become more resilient and more yourself? Like, this is one of the most practical ways anybody with access to a shower and somewhere to lay down and breathe, honestly.
So let me give you some positivity based off your last episode. So I still follow Wim Hof, right? And I follow you now. And what did he post? What does he call it when he actually finally posted like a scaled model just to get people to like a challenge? Was it a challenge? He was doing a challenge, wasn't he? Like a 15-day thing where it's like, hey, you start here with only this much. Maybe it's 15 seconds, right? 15 seconds full blown cold, then 30 seconds. And you basically build on that. I think he was calling it a challenge or a Wim Hof challenge or something.
Yeah, we've got a way we can communicate externally and get folks involved with like a 20-day shower challenge.
Okay.
Shower.
Yeah.
So,
and we were talking briefly about this on the last episode because I was like, okay, well, if somebody's hearing this and they're just as crazy as you and I are, what gets them into that? What's a baby step into it? Because you can't exactly, I mean, you could, but you can't exactly say, you know what, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and take an entirely cold shower for a good 5 minutes. I mean, I think that's just going to happen. And you're going to be like, no, that's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah. There's a nice bridge to be able to,
just jump right off of it.
Yeah. So, 20 days. It's a nice way to stay commitment and kind of groom yourself to some discipline with it. And
now, why do you think that's important to get a 20-day window?
Well, creating that groove, right? That habit and your confidence with it and your comfortability with it. So, I think the worst thing that can happen, right, is when you want to adopt a new way that can help you with becoming more of who you want to be, is making it super hard for yourself, or maybe expecting something super perfect where it's really easy. We're in the new year, right? I'm going to work out 6 days a week every day, 5 a.m. And it becomes a little more challenging if you weren't working out really at all, and then you're going to go to a perfect diet.
Yeah, if you were the once a month guy, and then all of a sudden you try and go to 6 days. Number one, also you're gonna have some physical pain and soreness. I mean, this is just, you're a human being. Your body's gonna be like, what the hell are you doing to me?
Yeah. I think you had a video posted recently too, Scott, in your group, where it was somebody talking about baby steps, maybe, right, or something kind of like.
Was that Dr. Megan Cannon?
Yeah, just one step in front of the other.
She's one of your other fellow regular co-hosts on the show. She's a sports psychologist.
Right on. Love that. I was thinking about doing that actually, like right out of getting into college sports.
Well, her organization that she works with, they're actually called Mind of the Athlete. So
it's killer. Where's she based?
Right here, where I'm at. Their office is 15, 20 minutes from here. It's I've actually done live shows there. Cool. She and I literally met. Real quick side note for our listeners that are newer. That's actually a great segue back to where this show came from. Like one of my regular guys I've had on the show, which shout out to one of our big fans, the Strausser Project, Brian Strausser. You need to get back on the show, bro. Anyway, he and I were doing like a real deep transparency, getting this guy vulnerable, being honest while sitting in a Starbucks with microphones recording a freaking podcast. And he and I met through volunteer trail work, running chainsaws, fixing up our mountain biking trails nearby here that I take care of. So it's like,
wow,
common ground, guys getting manly, but also like, hey man, let's get real manly. Let's get deep. And this guy talked about, his struggles of, he used to be a personal trainer. Then he got heavy. Then he's gotten injured. Now he's trying to become a dad and all these things, man. And then he went through depression, and he literally had thoughts of like suicide and stuff like that years ago. Like all this stuff's coming out. Meanwhile, this chick, Megan, is literally sitting right across from us with her Mind of the Athlete backpack, working on a program that she was about to speak at that following weekend at the CrossFit gym that my fiance and I train at. So like worlds collide. We finished the episode and she's just like, I just gotta like, tag in and say hi. Like,
Wow.
I love what you guys were doing, what was happening right now. And then boom, now she's been on like 3, 4, 5 times and
Awesome.
we're all friends now. And actually Christmas holiday, we do the 12 days of Christmas workout. It's a brutal long CrossFit workout, but she was there and we're doing selfies and posting on Instagram and everything else. Yeah. It's just like,
right on.
It's podcasting, man, bringing people together, getting people out of their comfort zone. So I just had to segue on that because there you go. Now you're in a community with her. You guys should reach out. She's
totally.
Another regular co-host is in that group is Aaron Sparrold, which is their sports nutritionist who's on staff there. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 sports psychologists and a sports nutritionist. So, and they travel around, work with all these major universities. That's their primary niche. Oh yeah. All these sports teams. Oh yeah. It's a thing.
So I, sidebar Tim, but I totally, Interfire's the parent company for Wim Hof, and
okay.
They've brought on instructors like myself, right? Year-long program, you're licensing the method. That way there's 250 of him versus like, can't be everywhere at once. And
eventually you have to scale, right?
But companies like the Facebooks of the world and things like that, like that's their biggest growth vertical because they all want that experience and everybody has a budget, right? That sort of the experiential budget to help teams get better communication, get along better, all that stuff. It's just a great, we do workshops 5 hours long. It's a great like cheap way to bring your team together and like
5-hour workshops are not that big a deal, believe me. I've been in 2-3 day immersions.
But I was thinking also like sports teams, just because like that's my background, right? Where I was like, I don't know how much effort I'll like go after that market because but that would be interesting.
It would be interesting because you might not get through to the entire sports team per se, but here's the thing, like they don't like not every sports team works with them, right? There's a lot of I think collegiate sports have changed a lot. I think the coaches are starting to think outside the box and saying, hey, man, maybe we need to bring in some psychology. Maybe we got to work on mindset. This is a common theme on this show with them is we talk a lot about mindset. That's why I was joking around with you, man. I'm like, you and I dug into some mindset on your first episode, but I was like, well, you've got a great angle because you're not coming in from per se the collegiately educated or, university educated psychology standpoint. You're coming in from a real world application, like the Wim Hof method, where it's like, dude, this is outside the box. But in reality, it is very mindset driven. It's just we're focused on a different angle of the lifestyle, right? Is it wrong to say it's extreme? I don't know if to say it's extreme. For some people, they might be like, "Hey, man, that's extreme, man. That's weird." Like I'm sitting on the cliff of an iceberg in my skivvies, with no jacket on. Like I don't know. It's some people look at the photos and they're like, "Man, what is that?"
It can be extreme,
yeah. So, but that's the point. You're not here,
totally,
to make everybody happy. It's you're putting something out there that you're looking for that 3 to 5 percentile, maybe less. That's like that clicks with me, right? You're finding your posse. Actually, it's interesting because you and I were bouncing around ideas over email. Complete transparency for our listeners. I never prescribe the show. Like we want this to flow and see where it goes, right? But Travis is so excited to be, a repeat co-host. He sends me out ideas. Like I love it. I'm like, oh my God, look at this guy. He's like, he's sending me ideas like, hey, here's some ideas for the show. Meanwhile, the guy just got done partying in Mexico. Different conversation. We'll get there probably. But he sends back 2 themes, right? He's like, hey, we could always talk about building identity capital or starting with why. And I talk a lot about why on this show. But I was like, it's interesting where this conversation went just now. This is why I don't like to script it, right? Because now by accident, we're literally getting into, I feel like this building identity capital piece. Because it's applying to how you want to start building your business off of your Wim Hof certification and how you're targeting people differently. And that comes down to your identity capital. And then you're trying to find those people out there that are looking for the same identity
absolutely
that aligns with you. So it's interesting how we just naturally flew in.
No, we did.
We
did. Well, what's funny too is I had I put dancing, salsa in particular, in the email to you because
I did like that. I was like, what?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Well, my teacher that I'll start again another year with in March, he sort of forewarned us about what sort of storm is ahead for us, and a lot of it is.
Did he actually title it as a storm?
Yeah,
that would be interesting. It's like, oh, thanks.
So he's wanting us to play with different ways that we can energetically sort of broaden our experience with our bodies, and that might be jujitsu, that might be dance. Those are some ideas. He play an instrument, take acting classes. So all these things but these are identity capital building experiences where
while also getting you out of your comfort zone.
Most of it, it's an identity capital building opportunity when it doesn't feel comfortable.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that's how you know. That's how you know. And for the listeners, identity capital, this concept, right? I love it because, if you're wanting to invest more time to become like more of who you truly are, it's a metaphorical currency for how we purchase the life we want, relationships and the jobs, the career, and the life we want. That metaphorical currency. I just think it's brilliant. And anyway, so.
Well, it's beyond brilliant, right? I think what you're going here is, I love where this is flowing, because here's a good interesting thing. Transparency to our listeners, right? I have Instagram feeds, Twitters, and all this other stuff, right? So Travis and I are now following each other. Actually, I just realized today we weren't even connected on LinkedIn. What the hell? I've been on that since it was founded. I connect with all you guys. Why haven't we connected on LinkedIn?
I have to update my LinkedIn. That is
yes, you do, sir. It is the professional platform.
Yeah, I've been slow on the LinkedIn. I think for
Well, here's the deal. I think you'll. And this is not a pat on my back, but I think you'll enjoy it if you look at my profile, because I do shit differently, right?
I love that.
About being transparent. Like, oh God, 2 years ago, I decided to say, I just don't give a fuck. I'm going to put it all out there. I literally did that on Facebook. Like, Facebook's now all of a sudden got a new thing where if you look on your computer, not your smartphone, and you look at your profile on Facebook, they're right at the top under your photo, they're like asking you like, hey, what's your favorite sport? What's your favorite food? Because they think you didn't fill out a bio yet, right?
Yeah.
Every time I click on that, it takes me to the bio that I filled out like 3 years ago.
Right.
That talks about how I grew up, where I came from, firefighting, being a farm kid, where I went to high school. Like, I threw all that in there just to be completely transparent. I forgot I wrote it. But on LinkedIn, part of that identity capital, right, is you're more than just your freaking resume. So I saw where LinkedIn was going because I'd been on it since the early 2000s when they launched it. And I'm like, you know what? Because I think they launched in 2002. So, or it was 2006. It's one of those 2 years. Anyway, the point is, dude, why does it have to be just your resume?
Yeah.
Okay. They're trying to get more social, right? They're trying to get like, oh, you know what? I'll let you post a project on that one bio for that job or whatever. So this is your opportunity to think outside the box. And since you're not targeting the traditional W-2 jobby job world, so it's like, dude, that is your opportunity to increase your SEO for your brand.
Yeah. I want to use LinkedIn. I just saw like a little training on this too, just because again, I have I know the power of that platform big time. But yeah, I want to use LinkedIn to connect with those at companies that are
major influencers.
Doing the those experiences. They're bringing cool experiences into their companies.
And I guarantee you, the CEIOs, they're looking for something different, and they're not looking on Facebook, right? The CEIOs aren't Facebook driven; they're LinkedIn driven. The beauty I found of LinkedIn that I've always tried and share with people is, dude, before I knew what the hell SEO was and search engine optimization and keyword recognition, dude, years ago, I launched my profile on LinkedIn. And then a week or two later, we were just casually chatting. They're like, hey man, do you ever Google your name? I'm like, no, I never did Google my name. And I Google it, and the first damn thing that comes up is LinkedIn.
Right on.
I didn't have any other online footprint.
Do you write content on LinkedIn?
There's groups your episodes get published there. Every time I publish you everywhere. Every co-host that comes on here goes on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Standard. Now, if people beat me to it, then I share their post. But usually on LinkedIn, nobody's posting. I think I'm the only person who posts podcasts on LinkedIn. But admittedly, I'm not officially a contributor. Let me pour that sound again. Look at that.
Yeah. Hey, you have extra for me? You have extra for me? I ran out.
So this is this bad boy is the latest upgrade. This is $100 freaking French press.
Wow.
I've never invested that much in my coffee, but dude,
you're a committed man.
Double filtered, double walled like a Yeti mug. So this holds the temp.
Yeah.
It's called the Espro, ESPRO. And this is the small model. They make a bigger one. Dude, legit. And I'm using actually my buddies from little Pure Vitamin Club mug. They launched Pure Coffee Club. So I'm actually using their athletic blend, which has 50% more caffeine. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you're going to be jiving then.
Well, I've got a competitive workout to go in and do at 10 o'clock this morning. So So I figure I'm going to get a little edge up and then go in there and just burn it all out. So
edge up. There you go. There you go.
But anyway, just to close out LinkedIn, it's a no-brainer because they're still so heavily based on keyword recognition. It's a very text-based platform.
Right.
So it's like, dude, get your keywords out there. That's what I was saying, man. You got to think outside the box. Write a good bio. Dude, look at my profile. And I already sent you a request this morning to connect up.
Yeah.
So just take a poke around in there and look over it. I got everything. Dude, I had the firefighting on there. I had colleagues of mine tell me, dude, you can't put firefighting on there. I'm like, why? And they said, well, it has nothing to do with your professional resume. I'm like,
it's going to be so interesting. No, I can't wait for this. It's great that you're bringing this up because I'm jumping out of the closet in this whole new world, whatever, because I was 9 years in this corporate advertising space because
this is what we were driven to do, right?
Yeah. All my friends all my friends on LinkedIn are all of my, ex-clients and ex-bosses and, the company I just left, I just said, hey, I'm leaving for entrepreneurship. It's not like I did a deep dive on here's what I'm doing just because I was like, I'm on my way out.
Right.
Cut the tie. So yeah, it'll be fun to say, here's where I'm at. This is where I've been to get me to where I'm passionate about this. And people can be like, whoa, because most of those people I'm not connected with on Facebook or other platforms. So it'll be interesting.
The other thing is, did I bring up the tagline from my buddy Michael O'Neill from the Solopreneur Hour for you? He's a big podcaster. I still remember to this day. He's like, dude, when it comes to Facebook, here's where I'm at. He's like, you're innocent until proven creepy.
Okay.
So he's like, you send me a friend request, I'm just going to hit yes. And then we'll see where that takes us. He's like, we'll see where that takes us. And I'm like,
there's even more leeway on that on LinkedIn, probably. It's less personal.
Well, nowadays it has gotten easier. Here's the trick, though. Here's your best practice. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your other tip. So you can go on LinkedIn and you can request to connect with somebody. But now LinkedIn gives you the option that when you click connect, there's a second button that pops up saying, do you want to add a note to personalize your request?
Right.
Please personalize your request because on LinkedIn, I purposely don't do that to teach them a lesson. Because I'm like, you know what? If you don't at least tell me why you're trying to connect with me, like I have an isogenics business, right? I'm a nutrition guy. And yes, that's a network marketing company, right? But it's one of my side hustles. And it's taught me a lot about business and growth and team building over the years. But in the end, it's a side hustle. It's not my primary thing. I get network marketing gurus trying to friend connect me all the time. And then you see their profile, or the guy does not, his personalization is, this is what I do for other network marketers. We should connect. And I'm like, dude, thank you for your sales pitch. Piss off.
Yeah. Don't start with what, start with why.
Right. The other part of your email, right? It's like, okay, dude, how about we get to know each other first? Because this is a classic mistake that people make in sales and marketing when they're building a brand, building a business, whether it's online or in person, is you start pushing your shit down people's throat. And they're like, wait a minute, where was the, how do I say this? Let's tie some dating into this. Where's the foreplay? Right?
Where's
the damn foreplay?
You got to have it.
Well, you want us to build identity capital. You want us to define our whys, but then everybody goes right into that and then starts pushing their crap down your throat. It's like, wait a minute. How about some whining and dining, man?
Well, some of it's lack of awareness, but I mean, I think the importance, in what you're saying is a relationship can't happen no matter on what level, what kind of relationship, unless there's this common ground in beliefs or common ground in passion for why anybody's doing anything.
Hey, your dancing
fully
partner.
Believe that.
Do you think? I mean, I don't know how you guys connected or whatever, but do you think she would have taken you to do a two-step to challenge you if you hadn't spent a little bit of time before that date kind of connecting a little bit, right? I don't
Sure,
know.
totally.
Are
Yeah,
you comfortable
definitely.
talking about that?
Yeah, that was like her holy ground. That's like
Oh,
her,
she
like
took
she
you
had
into
friends
her
there. Yeah,
space.
yeah.
She was testing you, dude.
Sure.
She wanted to see if you could actually handle it. And like, hey, you're out of your comfort zone. You're in her strength area. Is this guy going to freak? I don't know. That's my
Yeah.
psychology, man.
No, I think so for sure. Yeah. And I think maybe even a few years ago, I probably would have, because I definitely was uncomfortable, but like totally enjoyed it.
Well, and the other piece is so interesting. We're gonna tie this back now because now I'm gonna geek out on identity capital because I love the
Interesting.
words. But do you feel now where you're at, right? You've been getting out of your freaking comfort zone for a good year at least, right? You got Wim Hof training. You got
About I'd say 2 years of
2 years
really just
now.
being
Okay.
mostly uncomfortable with a lot of
Okay,
things.
so you got like, dude, I'm way out of my comfort zone. I'm becoming an instructor in this methodology. I have to be able to get other people out of their comfort zones. Oh, you know what? What the hell? Come a new year, let's go ahead and relocate. That's one of the top 3 most stressful things for mankind on average. When you look at the statistics, they tell you the top 3 most usually stressful things in people's lives are moving, marriage, and death. Or we'll throw in maybe a job change, right? Layoff or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you hit on a few of those cylinders, my friend. Like I think you might have tackled a good quantity of that in like, you're not getting married or, there's no death, but you got relocation, you got career changes, career growth, launching a business. Like, dude.
Yeah. Surprisingly, someone who used to be pretty anxious about change, it's all been kind of effortless for the most part. So there's a little bit of
how do you think you reached a point of effortlessness?
Lot less tug of war going on, I think. There's a combination of, there's things that I believe in a lot. So if we talk about starting with why, right? And like almost literally, this ties back to everything with Wim Hof or what I want to do with men's coaching, how I want to essentially call in my tribe. So we'll workshop how someone might do that and how I plan to do that, right? Where it's like, I believe in 3 things specifically. And this is all very personal to my experience. So if you're referencing that, this is where I got to it.
I think that's important, right? Because this is that balance where you got to tie the personal into the professional.
Very much so. And when I say this, I think it'll make sense from what we talked about the first go around and just our thing. But it's like, I believe that it's what we can't see or what we can't feel is really what's most important for like more expression of ourselves. It's like what we can't see psychologically, what we aren't choosing to really feel or go to emotionally. Like there's a lot of power in that, The how unlocks in a variety of ways, Wim Hof, group coaching, blah, blah. But I believe that. I fully do believe that. Second thing is like, I believe when we like withhold things, our issues from people, like we're giving our power away to those things, hands down. Like that's a vulnerability piece. That's a coaching piece. But it's what Wim Hof would say is feeling is understanding. That's his big thing. Feeling is understanding. If you're feeling your body physiologically, what it does, like that's understanding. And the third thing is,
a lot of us are numb to it.
Very much so. I was for a very long time, most of my life. And intuition, all those things, insights, self-esteem, it all comes from getting in the body, being acutely aware to it. It's like, that's my third thing. I believe that like subtle awareness of like what the body is telling us, it takes a lot of practice and it's like required for like the cojones to like take the life that you want, like the heart-centered living, like the stuff that you never thought you could do, but you have to be super aware of what your body is telling you practically, right? The Wim Hof method does that, breath work does that. But
I just think it's interesting that you keep bringing the body into it because a lot of us, we're guilty of paralysis by analysis and we think it's all a mental game. And the only reason why it's still all a mental game because you're not allowing it to manifest through your body and listen to how your body feels, how your gut, do you actually have a deep down gut reaction? Are you allowing that to happen? Or are you still in that numb mental state? I don't know. Would you agree with how I'm wording that? Because I've not studied the Wim Hof method. That's how I look at it. Like sometimes we're so stuck in our head.
No, 100%.
Like, do you feel what's happening in your gut, man? Like, listen to your damn gut because you're so hardcore, overly analytical in your head. You're not feeling how you actually feel about that.
There's over like 1,000 times more neurotransmitters in your stomach than there is in your head.
Boom. There's something to think about.
Blew my mind. No, we're seriously talking like it's way over 1,000 times more. It's, gut, the microbiome movement these days is exploding.
Yeah.
Exploding.
And the only thing, they're touching the surface, dude. Everybody's like, my one buddy, he loves like when I bring on biohackers and stuff on the show, like he loved Dr. Jack Cruz, the mitochondriac neurosurgeon himself on this show. But, that guy's episode was legit.
I don't want to geek out with that guy because
dude, he's too smart for his own good.
Yeah.
But you go back and listen to 51 because it's like, it's hard to get through some of how scientific this guy is. Like huge. He's like biohacking. He's like, when you're ready, you can come join my mitohackers. He's like, I hacked the mitochondria at the cellular level, and I'm like, damn.
Wow. Yeah, right. I mean that's. I mean, if I were to get into the science of Wim Hof, we would go there because it is a lot about ATP and mitochondria and what we're doing.
But everybody's focused on drinking, your probiotics. Like when you hear microbiome, like the surface level people are like, oh yeah, I drink,
which you can.
I drink my probiotics every day. And I'm like, okay, you're starting to get it, but you don't get it.
Right. Well, personal, you're in this supplement business as well. I have a good friend that, runs a growing superfood company too.
Yeah.
And doing some research too on like that market, like supplements and superfoods and things like that. The growing opportunity is like personalized, not only personalized healthcare, but personalized supplements and personalized things where they take your gut and then they look and almost like with a watch, could it tell you what your levels are in a day?
There's a guy who reached out to me. Actually, thanks. I did a Facebook Live out in Vegas at Thrive, Make Money Matter. And the guy remembered me from Thrive, Make Money Matter in San Diego. And then he reached out to me because a buddy of his thought he saw me doing it from the airport. I don't know. It was a weird connection, right? He sends me all this stuff. Anyway, long story short, they're doing that kind of DNA level research to personalize your vitamin profile to who you are, right? Like what are the essential vitamin nutrients because a lot of this is guesswork. Until you run the advanced blood panel testing, or like I have in the corner here, the saliva testing to do hormonal analysis. Like there's testing that we could do, but nobody gets it yet. Mm-hmm. And we're still kind of finding our way, but that's the point, right? Like a lot of people just blindly putting crap in their body because they do care. And people like us, like we're spending a lot of money on supplementation. My supplementation protocol from 2010 to now changes every year because I'm constantly hacking and trying to try different things. So what I consumed in 2010 when I was still a firefighter compared to what I'm consuming now has changed. So we're constantly adapting.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting that world where that's headed.
It'd be cool one day if you could just swab a mouth or take a drop of blood, submit it, and they spit back and say, yep, here's your perfect vitamin nutrient superfood profile, since our food is lacking nutrient density in this country. I don't care. Yeah. There's your justification, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not telling you to go take supplements tomorrow, but as a farm kid, what we did when I was a kid and what we're doing now to our crops and our soil, it's tragic. Right. We've just tapped the life out of the surface of this planet, especially here in North America. So trying to get consistent nutrient density in our food supply is few and far between. So
totally. Yeah. I'm a big believer in it.
That's a whole other podcast show.
Yeah, for sure. I geek out on superfoods. I mean, man. Somewhat with my buddy's business. And
I got my super greens. I take it. Yeah. So yeah. And actually, I will tell you, most companies I see, if I see a greens powder, it's actually not bad. Like I have my own through this company. I have another buddy of mine who gave me samples from another company. And in the end, as long as you're not stuffing it full of fake crap or sugar, and you're just trying to build a profile based off of super greens, for example, that's crucial because there's studies that have proven that 15, 20 years ago, you took a bowl of spinach and you compare that to a bowl of spinach today. You need like 9 to 10 bowls of this spinach today. I don't care if it's organic or not, to be equal to that nutrient density from 15, 20 years ago.
That's crazy.
This was proven at a university. I forget what university did this test, but they had that stuff like cryogenically frozen or whatever, and they pulled that out, sampled it. And it's like, what? I was like, that's crazy, man. That's like an example of what we've done to our food supply.
Right. Right.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, we got off on a tangent, okay, which just happens. I'm all right with it. But let's bring us back to your identity stuff, right? Because it kind of ties me back to your original bio when we brought you on for episode 137, because I have it up here because I loved how you put this in about all of your attentions and energy were focused on consuming more of things externally to yourself to build up your identity, right?
Sure.
And you got very transparent and you were honest to our listeners. In case you didn't hear that episode, like he had a lack of a father figure your entire life, which it took you on that journey of untangling yourself from social pressures and trying to find true masculinity, right? So that's something that I want to tie back from the prior episode into what we were just discussing, because I love that kind of full circle relationship, because we have a lot of new listeners who might not have listened to that show.
Sure.
But where do you tie that to where you're at now, right? You're in Austin, Texas now, man. Like you're now Wim Hof trained. I mean, how are you building this identity forth?
The identity capital for me now, it's just service based. Like I just want to get my hands wrapped around, like if I'm growing myself, right, I'm putting myself into these uncomfortable situations, whether it's, meeting new people, going out on, dates with new people, dance, just these different things outside of like the physical stuff, Wim Hof, I work out and all that. It's all like, so I can just like step into more of that resiliency so I can serve other people. And so my identity now is just I'm less worried about myself. I'm oriented different, So I think there's just identity.
Real quick, I got to pause on this, man. You're less worried about yourself. I love that. Right? It's like, dude, why are we so worried about ourselves all the time? Just let it flow, man. I was going to do some screen share for our ladies and gentlemen. So
I think a lot of where, if you're younger, and if you're not fulfilled or you're very confused or you're really like living a busy life, I think our culture promotes it. It's easy to get set into it, but it's just easy to always want to look out for yourself. And almost, I think men will come into this too, because there's something about, trying to prove your manhood where you're like, you're entitled and your ownership, and there's those things, and you might box yourself in with that. But if you take a step back really, and you don't even have to necessarily volunteer. Like I did Big Brothers Big Sisters for 1 year. There's things that you can do, but it feels really, really good though when you're making a difference and you can like feel that you are. And
let's pause on that. I've done a lot of charity and volunteer work over the years, right? I literally got to physically build 5 homes with Habitat for Humanity on a project here locally years ago.
That's deep stuff there, man.
Right? That was awesome. Like that was one of my earlier experiences of.
That's hardcore. Yeah.
Just like if I go back and visit them, one of the ladies who was like just a fresh out of high school, like secretary, is still there. And she's like, I remember you. You're the spider guy. And I'm like, spider guy? She's like, yeah, the guy who just run across all the rooftops. And I'm like, oh, because nobody wanted to work on roofs. So like, I'm a climber, and I just jump across gaps and shit. And I'm like, come on, guys, come on up. And they're all looking at me like I'm a crazy person.
Part crazy.
It's a part crazy. Well, it kind of it ties back to, so I started feeling guilty about that type of stuff because I would talk about it. And I'm like, am I talking about it in a way that is self-promotional? Right. And I think some people feel guilty about that sometimes. And it's like, you know what? I don't care about it anymore because that's just who I am. It's built me to where I am today. Great organizations like that helped influence me. So now I just got to change my vernacular and how I speak about it. Right.
I think if you want to go there, like I want to choose organizations that are highly personal to me. So like, for example, another men's empowerment coach, Javon Langford, he runs The Mentor. I don't know if we went through this on the last episode.
Oh, we did not, no.
The Mentor
what's his name?
Is this amazing, Javon Langford. And he's based out of LA, and he lost his father at 3, has had, there's all kinds of links to our backgrounds, big athlete guy and all that. But, there's 30 volunteers that are older men, and all it is like emotional intelligence and mentorship support for young boys, 8 to 15. So for me, that, that's highly, highly personal and relevant, right? Like I put myself into those young kids' shoes where I was walking around the playgrounds and trying to figure out what was different and felt different. Like mom just came to pick me up, whereas, others had a rounded out family, and not in all cases, but in some cases. But anyway, so that for me, if like I'm going to get involved at that level, like an organization that it's linked to a prior experience for me, obviously, right? Where I can be highly empathetic to those that are in a certain situation, where if I'm giving back to that and then I'm speaking about it, I don't care what people think, right? It's like I believe in that, and I'm getting involved. I'm convincing my friend actually to like potentially give like 10% of his proceeds of his business to this thing ongoingly. And I want to actually try to open it up in Austin for him. It's just in LA, but he has like 20 states asking him to like come do the mentor in other communities. So it's like
for our video
premier,
listeners, I'm sharing the right guy, right? This is Juvan
yes,
Langford.
Yeah.
Perfect. So,
great guy.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Travis Roznos at travisroznos.com, but he's talking about Juvan Langford, which is Juvan. I'll have all this stuff linked in the show notes, but Juvan Langford, empowerment coach and global speaker. So just wanted to give him a little plug since you're talking about him. So
right on. So anyway, if it's, using volunteerism, and to acquire identity capital, I think do it in a way and find things that it's easy to just like Google charities. There's tons of them, and it's find one that maybe just is personal to you for some reason.
Well, did you see my my Facebook Live about what I've officially done to my business here in 2018?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, it's totally in line with what you're discussing. So
really,
you do remember why I go to Thrive Make Money Matter every year?
Specifically that conference? No.
Yeah, that conference obviously is literally about teaching entrepreneurs how to make money matter, and to teach them that to build true financial success, you need to align yourself with a bigger purpose, right?
Right.
One of the easiest ways to do that is if you want to drive more revenue and not feel guilty about it, why not flip your business into a for-purpose business model? So then you can hard code, for example, a set percentile that goes to not-for-profit activities. So it's like, wait a minute, as my business grows, as my income grows, my donations grow, right?
Right.
So I officially flipped the switch. So as of January 1st this year, everything I do is now a for-purpose business model. For the first quarter of this year, I officially have 1% of all gross income going into a special account that is now set aside for 501c3 initiatives.
Gotcha.
So,
nice.
So it's like, and then you can grow that percentage, right?
Nice.
I eventually want to have like at least 10%, right? But I needed to at least flip the switch because I was procrastination, through just waiting. And I'm like, oh, I got to wait until I have 5-10%. I'm like, no, you know what? Flip it, hard code it, and then see what the impact is to gross income, and then start working around it. Because if I take the money out before I need it, which is from the methodology I learned from the Profit First methodology, which is I incorporated in my business over a year ago as far as how I do my bookkeeping. I have special accounts, right? I have a tax account, a Profit First account. So you have to set aside your profit for yourself as an entrepreneur before you spend it. That way you don't wait to the end of the year and you subtract your expenses from your income. And it's like, oh, well, I have no money left, so I don't feel good about my company because I never got to enjoy some of the profits. And it's a complete flip on the So because I had that system installed, it's easy. All I did was I went online. I set up a separate online account with Capital One. I set up like their 360 money market account. So it's online. It's hard for me to get access to, right? And now I set up automatic transfers, and there's just every time money hits my account, gross income weekly, I have a weekly transfer going to that account, setting aside that 1%. And eventually that'll become 5-10%. And then eventually this year, I want to set aside what you're talking about, which is, okay, well, maybe I develop a flagship like relationship saying, for example, Juvan or whatever. We're like, hey, that's my chosen charity this quarter, this year, whatever. Because that's something that I've always had with this. Like my Isogenics business, their flagship relationship is Make-A-Wish Foundation. So every time I've been getting food monthly for years now, I have a donation automatically going to Make-A-Wish. So this was already, for me, my small side business here was already a for-purpose business model, but it wasn't like Fuel Enterprises and Live the Fuel wasn't hard-coded. And I think where you're going here, that's why I'm
Mhm.
geeking on this right now with you, because I'm like, I don't feel as guilty now. Like 2018, I'm actually fired up because I'm like, wait a minute, the more money I make or the more success we
Yeah,
drive,
yeah,
the more impact
yeah.
we drive.
And you should talk about it too, right? I think you should actually be very vocal if you're starting a business and if you're a business.
And especially if you're passionate about something and you're trying to
Yeah,
make an
man.
impact. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah,
multimillionaire yet,
definitely.
but why so many people feel like, oh, well, I don't make enough money to do that? Do you? Maybe you just don't realize it because you spend it before you need it, or you realize let's set it aside before
Right,
you think you need it, and
right.
then
Yeah,
you're already making an impact. It just means that
yeah,
maybe you got to shave a little off of your expenses and your overhead, which a lot of
yeah,
entrepreneurs, I was
yeah. I
guilty of,
think
like, oh, I can write that off. I'll just go buy it.
there's a lot of research out there too. The younger generation, Gen X, Gen Y, whatever, but they generally do want to patronize with brands and companies that are
Millennials are huge right now.
purpose. Yeah, big time, big time. Um, that's a big leading factor in decision making across the younger generations for brands and everything like that, for sure. It's great. That's awesome. I think I think that means that their mind is in the right place, I guess, and they make their decisions where they put their money.
Well, and I think that's the big picture here. Whether we're talking about creating a for-purpose business or just selecting an organization to start working with, I know it sounds like it from you too.
Yeah.
It really gets you to get outside of your comfort zone. Like I was there just to help build homes, for example, years ago. And then the head construction manager for this division here for Habitat said, well, I don't like dealing with volunteers and you're great with people. So here, you go run that whole house. So like 6 months into me volunteering, they gave me my own house to help build, and I'm running the
Wow.
volunteers on that. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, that got me out of my comfort zone.
Wow.
But in the end, he realized he wanted me to play to my strengths. And he knew that he didn't like dealing with volunteers. So he's like, you're very talkative. Here, you go deal with that. Just come back and check with me on the blueprints and we'll just make it happen. So
right on, man. That's great.
Oh man. But that's the point, right? It's like, what are we doing to get out of our comfort zone? What are we doing to challenge ourselves to see, going back to our original point here on this whole brand identity or building that confident identity, is what if volunteerism changes your initiatives and where you go in life? And it sounds like it did that to you.
I'm hoping that it does. Yeah. I do have a vision that, like, kind of idea on how that might, I really want to build what I'm doing with coaching into more of a platform, really, where it's take men's health, but it's more coaching. So, and I have 5 of the best coaches that offer packaging based on where somebody is in their life, if it's relationships, if it's more awareness and stuff. And I want it to sit on everything. And then I want to give 10% to the mentor. I mean, because that connects men to younger boys. It just, makes sense to me.
Now, are you looking to build that platform into obviously the drop, or?
Yeah, I really see,
again, I'm going to share your site again.
I see the drop and what it is from a like introduction to, becoming a more, rounded out, purpose-driven individual as a man. I see that as almost like the introductory course, like you call it, like required, personal development work in the men's workspace, almost like where the drop would be this. Not to say that, you can't be in a relationship if you're in this, but I'm not talking really a lot about, intimacy and, communication with your romantic partner. There's really none of that going on with this. Whereas, like my coach, John Weiland, a lot of what he does is couples relationship practice stuff, where he would be a piece of this down the road. So anyway, I do see this as something I want to build where it's an actual mentorship and education platform fully.
Well, I think you're smart, because in the end, I think you and I might have brought this up in a last episode, where I'm a big supporter of like the Strengths Finder 2.0 book, author's Rath, R-A-T-H last name. And it's on my resources on the website. As far as the library, I started building a library on the website now, because I'm tired of always promoting these different books and not like, guys, just go to the library. It's on the resources page. I was like, this is everything that it will not go on there unless I've consumed it. So whether it be an audible version or written book, I'm now building a library because I've consumed a lot over the past 3 years, especially. But the point here is this: I'm hearing from you is that realize what you're great at, that you're going to thrive with, and then outsource the rest. And even better, if you can outsource the rest, but build it into your own team. You're not you're not actually externally outsourcing, you're internally outsourcing, building a strong team. And then now from your brand, the drop, you can now target multiple domains because you have somebody on that team to direct people to.
Yeah, it's without trying to get ahead of myself, while also still I need to be ahead from, if I'm trying to do that 3-year vision of doing something like that, where I have to be like thinking forward, but then also like staying in my lane and making sure I get good experience in certain capacities. It's really important. Like I'm not, although I have an advertising tech background, like surprisingly, like when it comes to like thinking about, okay, I'm going to build a system that's like going to bring leads to my business and all these things, like maybe I'm lazy, but like it's things I don't want to do. So I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this entrepreneur thing, like I don't want to grind it out and do a bunch of stuff that I don't want to do, versus like things that gets me excited is, can I like conversations with other guys, coaching, serving, like vision, ideas, program building, speaking, writing. Like those are things that I'm passionate about, where it's more like external facing and like in front of people, versus like, I don't want to be like behind the computer a lot, like coming up with systems and like creating ads and like doing this stuff. So I am at a place where like, it's not that I don't want to white knuckle and be the entrepreneur that like is just struggling. I'm going to outsource all that stuff. Like I'm meeting with a guy tomorrow that's going to help me like with
but in the beginning, you will have to do some of that, right? Like we can't.
Sure, of course.
Let's be real. Any entrepreneurs that are, or budding entrepreneurs that are listening to this show, it's like, guys, in the beginning, you got to put in the sweat equity yourself anyway, and to discover what makes sense to hold internally versus externally outsourcing and things of that nature, because you got to find those pain points. Like, oh my God, I can't stand doing this. So yes, now I'm going to add that to my dream list and say, great, in 6-12 months, I'm going to look for somebody to add to my team to do that.
I mean, like I tried designing my website and struggled for like 4 months. So I was like, screw this. I can't do this. Like also, like design, right? Like that website looks great. I didn't do that. I came up with what it was going to be about and how I wanted it to flow and how I wanted to represent myself. I hired somebody to do that design. So I found out really quick, like I'm not going to be designing things.
That's kind of like, I'm like in the middle of that. So people are like, well, what is it you do? And I was like, I do a lot of things, but what I really love is when I sit down with a client and we talk brand strategy. My keyword is strategy there, because like, I'm not the designer either. Do I do my own edits to my WordPress site sometimes? Sure. But so I've learned it. I like to learn shit so I can at least survive and connect with the people that I know that I'm going to probably outsource that to. But then I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to just outsource that. But agreed. But I love, because like not everybody can sit down and do what you did, right? What is my vision? What do I want to stand for? What is my content? And then you got to get all that out there, because then when you go to outsource it, now, because that's what they're going to ask for. They're like, dude, what is your brand identity, right?
It's all about,
what's your identity, man?
How
are you going to, how am I going to design a site around that? Because then you'll be frustrated if they spit a website back to you and it's like, that's not connecting on anything that I wanted. And they're like, well, you didn't really give me much to work with.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you could do that's great. You should do something on like how to understand what to outsource and what not to outsource. I don't know, I think there's some gold in that for you. Yeah,
I'm like you. You're putting the reps.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
This year, really I'm working on a project to figure out what I want to put up online into more of an educational segment.
That would be cool.
Training program. It's like, great.
That would be really cool. Again, like, I would find that really valuable, actually.
There we go.
Any entrepreneur, like dissect the needs.
Maybe we'll use you as a guinea pig and just like, screw around. And I'm like, all right. And they're like, I was like, so what if you would have found this online, would you have studied that? I'm like, great. I'll add that into the library, the educational program. So
because it's interesting for somebody like you trying, delivering value to maybe aspiring entrepreneurs, or personal brands, where it's like if you have something you're really passionate about and you kind of have an idea on the vision, great is one thing, but there's so many other landmines out there.
Oh God,
that it's
I've stepped on them.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid them at all costs.
I have virtually blown a couple feet off, and then luckily we're virtual, so I just go right back. But that's also how we learn. You have to make these mistakes, right? The most powerful things we've learned, or the things we've now can manifest into our future, are thanks to these struggles. Like you've hinted at, lacking the father experience. Well, luckily you were intelligent enough to seek out guidance or new influencers or coaches or mentors to help you reach what you were missing, was that next level of masculinity, right?
Sure.
And now you've connected with that so personally, at least to me anyway, looking at you and hearing you, and as I get to know you, is that, wow, man, like what's he going to do next? Because now he could take those lessons and influence others with that, because you've got a story in that brain.
Yeah, there's what I'm hearing, is, and I write about this actually a lot, because young men in particular, I think like they don't want to have to like say, I don't have it figured out. Like, why would I need that? Screw that. I want to do it on my own. I was like that for a very long time, although I knew I wasn't. So the humility though, like to build the humility required to outsource those resources that you need, whether it's on a personal level or in your business, like seek out the humility necessary so that you don't take on everything by yourself. And I think that is bulletproof advice for anybody of any age, because if you don't have the humility of it, like you just, man,
you're holding yourself back.
Yeah, big time. But it's really hard. That's really, really hard, because, I think, I don't know if it's gender specific per se, but I do think that it's, it encompasses experience for men more so, because they want to like take everything on, and they want to like not show that they don't have things figured out.
It's funny. I was going to bring this up earlier and I forgot, but now you've connected it back. It was like when I showed up to be a firefighter, right? And I was considered the old guy. I was 31, 32. Everybody's 18 to 24. So I've got age and supposed wisdom. And I had been managing 30, 40 person teams in the corporate world. And I had gone back to school, finished my degree. So I now have this marketing and psychology background. And I'm like, I think I'm ready to go. And I'm pretty fit. And in the end, it doesn't matter what the hell I brought to the table. They don't give a shit, right? Your squad bosses don't care. My superintendent don't care. It doesn't matter what the hell my background was. To be fair, I didn't have any firefighting background. So I was more of a rookie than some of these younger guys who had at least had served with a local fire department or something before they became a hotshot. And I had to realize that. It's like, Scott, it doesn't matter what the hell you showed up with. It's what are you going to do now? How are you going to demonstrate your knowledge or your expertise? Like, they don't give a crap what is coming out of your mouth. Close it and demonstrate it, right? So I had to show up every single day, put in that sweat equity on the fire line, on these PT hikes, show the willingness to keep learning, showing the willingness to accept humility, because they would bust my balls if I made a mistake. Hey, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're still a rookie, right? So suck it up, Buttercup. You're a rookie, and you're going to take the criticism. And if you're going to set a manly example for the 18-year-old and be the wiser person at 32, well, I can't be like a whining little baby about it. You got to shut up and just keep working. And it was a very powerful, humbling experience for me. I learned so much from that experience because, my first year I showed up, I did a lot of talking. Yeah, I put in the work, but eventually halfway through the season, I just didn't really talk as much anymore, and I just put in the work. And that's how I earned the respect. And I started getting more higher level opportunities to do more with our fire crew, because my squad bosses and my leadership saw that, hey, Scott's finally getting it, right? Doesn't matter what the hell you say, bro. It's what are you showing up with? Yeah,
lead by example.
Exactly. So that was a classic example where I thought, all right, I'm coming in. I'm good. I'm like, no, dude, you ain't shit.
Right.
I'm sure you guys like that with the Wim Hof, right? Like people show up like, I'm fit, I'm strong.
The world will correct you, I think, in some way usually, right?
Yeah.
Pretty quick, but...
And that comes down to this, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Again, like we were talking about your why today. We were talking about brand identity. We were talking about building identity capital, whatever keywords you want to talk about. Like that's what I was looking forward to bringing Travis back on again for, and cycling him into basically a lifestyle component for this show, right? Like we bring on Megan and Aaron, talk about nutrition and health and also mindset as well. But I was like, man, it's like Travis has got a different angle here, man. I love your background. I think it's powerful because I grew up with a father figure, but yet it was one of those quiet father figures. Like, again, he just worked hard, but I love my dad, but he was not the overly coaching fatherly type. He just went out and worked all the time. So
Very common experience.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like, I wasn't
Very
necessarily,
common. Yeah.
I don't want to say I was necessarily lacking a complete father figure, but I did observe, hey man, hard work, farm kid, man, you got to put in the work. So different story than you, but there's still a different lacking psychology there from a father figure, right? Everybody's got these different father figures. So I just been jamming with you, man. I love the fact that
thanks for having me on. I'm all about it. It's great to
so now that you're in Austin,
with you, man. Yeah.
Now that you're in Austin, now that you're officially a repeat co-host on the show, and this will be coming out in a few weeks, but what's the next steps for you, man? Here, this will probably air end of January, February. Like,
okay,
what are we be catching people up on when I publish this stuff?
Yeah, so I'll be doing a Wim Hof workshop in East Austin, February 17th.
Okay, so I'll definitely get you out before then. So
if anybody is listening to this and you're in the Austin area, you can go to my Facebook page. You can go to Eventbrite. You can,
Oh, so you already got it up?
Get tickets. Yeah, I've got everything. Everything's up. There'll be room for probably 8 people at this workshop, and then that's mid-February. And between now and then, I think it'll just be just jamming on things. But that's what I'm excited about, obviously, coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So.
Well, make sure you email me over the links so I can embed them in your blog content. And then obviously this gives you something, once this goes live, a couple of weeks before your event, this gives you something to help market that too, right? So because I think that's important, right? I love the fact you also did only an 8-person head count. I think it should feel more VIP and hands-on. You get too many heads in the group. It gets very diluted.
There's a few instructors that do, like 18 to 24 people, but they've been doing it for a while and
they've built up that skill set.
Yeah. You've got to be able to hold that space. It's a lot of people and some intense things going on. It's not like we're all sitting around having a chat.
Yeah. This is deep stuff.
A lot of people are getting into a whole nother thing. So 6 to 12 people will really be where I'll play for probably a long time, for about a year. Probably.
What I'm hearing from you is, again, we want to find that target audience, right? So people hearing this, hell, guys, you should just take a flight out to Austin because Austin's beautiful.
If you're close to Austin, get in the workshop on the 17th. This is experience.
Dude, I did my first, I don't know if that medal's hanging up over there. I did my first endurance mountain biking race outside of Austin. When after firefighting, when I moved to Colorado, I went down through southern U.S. I've done so many coast to coast road trips. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go through the South. And then my buddy's girlfriend at the time, he owned the bike shop in Colorado that I helped him open. He's like, hey man, my girl's going down to Texas. She's driving down to Austin. We should reroute through there, meet her, and do a Leadville qualifying race. So it's a 60+ mile mountain biking race.
That's crazy.
On a mountain biking course at some ranch outside of Austin. So I'm like, sure, the bikes are on the roof. I'm moving to Colorado. I'll just pull off and take it off the roof and go do a race. So that's why I just realized, like, oh yeah, that was Austin. So
that's nuts. That's hardcore.
It was, it's it was 4 15+ mile loops. So the good thing is you can loop back through. I had mechanical issues. I dropped a chain, busted a gear. I'd pull up alongside of my campsite where my tent was, fix it, get right back on the bike and keep going, man. That's that endurance mindset. You got to just keep going. By the time I finished the race, I had 1 gear left. I literally had chain rings of gears hanging off my handlebar.
Jesus.
And I had to rig it. And I was literally, and my legs were spinning like crazy because I had no main drive. Like, because mountain bikes, you could shift your gears. I had nothing, dude. I had fucked that bike up.
That's crazy. That's intense.
And I qualified because you have to finish the race in 7 hours or less to qualify for Leadville. So I made the cutoff, got my medal, but because of my age group, I wasn't one of the top performers, so I couldn't actually qualify to do the big Leadville race, which is in Leadville, Colorado, where you do it at 10,000 feet. So this was one of the qualifiers to get you there. Anyway, just fun little backstory there. Just
Right on,
maybe
brother.
I was like, oh man, I forgot about that.
It's been great, obviously, being back on the show.
Yeah, man.
For that. Yeah.
It's been great. I appreciate you making the time.
Yeah, of course.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, travisroznos.com. Check out The Drop, a man's pursuit of purpose through masculine practice. And then obviously, like we did last time, sir, you're a co-host, so we like to close out the show with your final words. So what kind of powerful words or mindset do you want to leave behind for the audience so they can keep coming back for more?
No, I think if you've made it this far through this episode and you're still tuning in, it's for a reason. And I think you're hopefully drawn to the conversation today, which was really, all about the identity capital concept, right? Is really interesting. So it's like, how can you look at how you design your life around what am I investing my time in that's going to help me become more of who I want to be? And most likely, like a temperature check, it's usually because it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like weird. It's like, get weird, right? Like get weird in a variety of ways. So like, I encourage that. Like on the other side is so much growth and like so much more like natural confidence. So like, I encourage you to look at that. Like think about that, take that with you. And I'll be back on the show and let's do it again.
There it is. Oh, hang tight. I'll give you a proper goodbye.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of our latest and newest repeat co-hosts for 2018, travisroznos.com. So again, powerful words. We got a lot of masculinity mindset, but what you heard today was not just for men. This applies to you ladies as well. There's a lot of strong ladies out there too. Right. But again, ladies and gentlemen, that's another powerful Live the Fuel podcast. Thank you for listening in. And remember, I always remind you guys, keep living the fuel. We'll talk to you guys again soon. And you're free of the pod. This is just that extra video stuff. So, but hey, man,
right on, brother.
Thanks for making the time today. It
was a great chat. We flowed.
See, that's why I said, like, when you got the right people and the right concepts to discuss, you don't need to prescribe it. But I did like what you did. I liked the exercise. It got me out of my comfort zone. I've never had a co-host send ideas, so that's the first.
Really? I think you're right about
year and a half.
I think you're right about the whole like lifestyle stuff, like I want to jam on, things, I mean, health and fitness and stuff. I mean, I can go there, business, whatever, but I want to be talking about maybe some weird shit that I get into,
Well, and I think that gets people more connected to you, right? Because if I always publish you because obviously I have 3 domains, health, business, lifestyle, and I actually rebuilt that on the website. So now when people go to the podcast on the toolbar, I always publish the latest 2 episodes on the homepage. But if they go to podcast, you can click on all episodes. It just gives you a master list, the entire history. But then there's a health section, a business section, and a lifestyle section. So I start pushing certain episodes into that one domain that really stood out.
Cool.
And usually Megan and Aaron, I always have them in the health demographic. But for you, it's like, I don't want to limit you just to business because not everybody needs it for entrepreneurism. Yeah. Some men need you and what Wim Hof is teaching just for overall improved lifestyle. And that's where I feel it's a bigger umbrella. So I think you're going to do great.
Right on, man. Well, so how often are people coming on to your show?
Megan and Aaron, it's been hard with the holiday season, but I've usually had them on every month. So
cool.
And it helps break it up. Instead of me always having like these new people, having like a regular theme. And that's what I was thinking about you. I wanted you to think about. I mean, getting on once a month is not a lot. It's especially, we could literally, if all of a sudden you're doing a lot of travel or something like that, and I got to do this for Megan and Aaron, I'm like, wait a minute, why don't we set aside like a 2-hour bracket with Megan one day, and I just do 2 back-to-back episodes, and then I set the other one aside. I don't know. Yeah. We've never done that before.
We should definitely do, let's do after the 17th, my workshop, because...
Yes, we can reflect on that.
Well, it'd be interesting to be able to talk firsthand on what people were saying and what they got out of it. And I also have a trip to New York the first week of February, where again, so I'm a little involved with my buddy in a superfood business, but we're going out to WeWork headquarters. He has distribution in WeWork, and so we're
in Newark, New Jersey.
No, WeWork, the company.
Oh, WeWork, yeah, I know WeWork.
So we're trying to cut a deal with WeWork, and we're also meeting with VCs, and so it's definitely a business trip that maybe if we want to go there, I can certainly reflect on how a couple of guys.
Well, when in February is that?
The 6th and 7th of February. So there's a lot in the fire, and
so you'll be in New York City.
Yeah, those 2 days.
Dude, that's only like an hour and 20 minutes from me. I go to New York all the time.
Shit, man, if you're in the city, so we'll be, I get in the 5th and I'll be there through the 7th, the evening.
Yeah, dude, we got to follow up on that because
Okay.
obviously I have all the portable gear too. We could even do a situation where you and him and me, we sit down because I got multiple mics, everything.
That'd be badass.
I've done 3-way.
So my buddy's story is flat out insane. He tore his ACL. I was behind him in Jackson Hole 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And
some good skiing.
He worked with me in ad tech for about a year, and he finally got the surgery. 2 days after the surgery, he had a blood clot go through his heart. Should have died on the spot. There was 99% chance he should not have lived. And he went to the doctor, and they did all the blood work. And so he did about 2 years of really finally, like, he lost 100 pounds. He got super tight with like smoothies, greens, and he was like making his own smoothies and shit. And they said his blood work was just like some of the best blood work, like it saved his life because like you shouldn't be alive. So he spent 2 years making like the relationships with all the suppliers to microdose 50 superfoods into capsules. So this is his business, but that's his story.
Wait, who is this guy?
That's my buddy, my best friend.
What's his name?
Abe Handler.
Abe what?
Abe Handler. If you go to Amazon and go to Abe's Organics, like that's his.
I've heard of this capsulization of superfoods, and I don't know if he's the only one doing it.
Gosh, there's a few most of it's powders.
He went to UMass, didn't he?
No.
University of Massachusetts? No, that's a different Abe Handler. Oh, that's a PhD student in computer science. Wrong Abe Handler. Handler.
Yeah, he's based in LA. I mean, he's on LinkedIn, he's on Facebook, but anyway, he's a father of a 6-year-old, and he's got this great story, and but anyway, like that's his story is crazy.
We might have to hook up, man, because I don't give a crap. I travel all over the place. I would drive up for the evening after you guys get obviously your business stuff during the day, and we catch up over like literally. I've done it where I've recorded over dinner. I don't care.
Yeah, man.
You record at a coffee shop. You record at dinner, whatever.
I mean, I'd be really interesting, man, if you're because like you have experience in this world. Like, do you know? Like, have you successfully scaled e-commerce with supplements?
I don't target the e-commerce side with what I do because this is Isagenix anyway. They're built on the network marketing business model. It's all word of mouth. And then I have a team that I've just built over the years, and 85-90% of my people are just consumers. But then you've got those few people who's like, oh, well, I wouldn't mind figuring out how to make money doing this. And yeah, there's people out there that are putting crap on Amazon and stuff, but Isagenix is not going to stand behind that because you're not ordering directly through Isagenix. If you're buying and reselling, now you're like, did somebody taint that? Did they mess with it? It's hard to put quality assurance behind that because the company's amazing. They stand behind 100% everything they do. So you got to be careful with that type of stuff. So I've had numerous conversations because I have dude, I mean, this is Vinny Twitter. It's his company. He doesn't have Pure Coffee. Like, he created his own vitamin company, and they're doing online sales, and they're on Amazon.
Yeah.
So we've geeked out on podcasting together about this.
We're at the stage, like I'll be super frank with you. Like, Abe's done a great job of building high quality relationships with all the suppliers. Right. Yeah. He set up the manufacturer. He's on Amazon. He's done a good job. I'm his business arm, right? He's giving me equity in the company just to kind of be his guy.
Yeah.
But we're getting funding. Like, we have friends that just do really, really, really well. They've sold companies to Groupon. They're like, whatever you need. So we have funding set up now where we're like, how do we have somebody work with me to scale what he has on Amazon and then build out e-commerce?
Dude, we could literally do a podcast where we just talk about him and his story. And then, but for fun, and this is how it always happens with me, we start geeking out about business and marketing during the show. And he basically gets like free brainstorming and consulting, right? Because like, I'm not, obviously I tell people all the time, like, dude, the advantage of a podcast is you will walk away with probably new ideas and content.
No, I believe that.
And it's not a billable situation because we're providing free content to the online space. And what if it actually helps that guy's company? Like, that's the fun of it, right?
Dude, I love that. We would love to hang out with you in New York, man. Like, I totally, man, like your background.
Plus, you can't beat the organic growth ideas of that. Cause like I could set up a little I have portable mini tripods. We could set up the iPhone and do it Facebook Live.
Let me know if I need to bring anything like tech wise. Like, I have this, like, but it doesn't sound like we're doing it. I'll need it.
No, I mean, I've got I've got Italian-made mini tripods, and
Right
that just arrived yesterday. I'm flying to Chicago on Monday to go to my client's conference in the HVAC industry, and that is a portable. Yeah. Like I could fly on a plane tripod. Yeah. I've been getting more into that type of stuff because I geek out on it.
And his whole life story thing, is great to listen to. I mean, I've been on so many calls with the guy where like people are like, "Holy shit!" It's just a crazy story. But
I have portable podcasting gear. Yeah, I don't fuck around.
You're crazy. Yeah. You.
Literally tonight, I have a grass-fed, my cow, sirloin tip, slow cooking in my slow cooker that I put in at 8 o'clock this morning. Tonight, in my giant garage behind my house, I will have propane heaters going because it's cold. And I will have sawhorses set up, and all of my ski and snowboard buddies are showing up, and we're going to be tuning skis and snowboards, waxing. I'll have the grill fired up. I'm going to have meat cooking.
That sounds like a blast.
I have people bring it over. There's like all of our little inner circle group. We're all going to be hanging out.
Sounds great, man.
Waxing skis for the ski season, grilling. Obviously, there'll be probably some beverages involved. Sure. Just hanging out because I have a freaking 3,000 square foot garage behind my house. So
savage, man.
Yeah. So maybe people get bored when I hit my squat rack out there. I don't know. So anyway, we should definitely try and figure something out for New York because there's people in New York that I've had on the podcast that I said, hey man, I will come out. Let's reconnect. And people get busy and they forget about it. So,
shit, man.
And the opportunity of this is genuine brand growth. Like we're not, I'm not a paid sponsor of your show. Like I'm just going to help you guys or show me your brand, and he gets himself out there a little more.
Let's do it, man. So I'll let me know your times and where you'd want to meet, man. So we're going to be staying at our buddy's place, who's right in Manhattan.
Oh wow, okay. So 6th and 7th, you said?
Yeah, we get in. So we have a 2-hour thing that we work on the 6th.
Yep.
We have a meeting most likely on the 7th with the VC. But so early in the morning on the 6th, or like early in the morning on the 7th, most likely is good.
Early morning on the 6th might be an option because I'm a morning person anyway. Okay. And usually I have business meetings depending on the week of the month. I'm usually in New Jersey or heading into north of the city anyway for some of my clients. So it's like, either way, I can get in early, we'll bang it out, and then I pop out of the city.
Yeah, if you want to do early, like somewhere, in Manhattan there, like, he's kind of close to Chelsea Pier a little bit, like, he's right there in Manhattan, like 7th and...
Yeah, like we could literally do it like over breakfast or brunch or just coffee just hang out and see where that goes. Or we save it for the evening and you have a nightlife idea. We got a few weeks to plan it, right? Because it's January 20th, so tomorrow. All right, so here's the deal. From today's show, email me your links for your event so I can include that for the blog content. All right. And then let's keep a separate email thread on the travel itinerary for that, and let's figure that out. Only because I have to get ready for another call anyway. So let's figure that out because it's either going to be the 6th or we can do it. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to do like a nighttime thing in the city. I don't know.
Here's the thing though, is like I have a feeling between WeWork, the meeting with like our other buddy who's potentially involved, and this VC guy we're talking to, there could be a nighttime situation already.
On both nights?
Well, the 6th, and then we leave at 5 p.m. on the 7th.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. You get in Monday night or Tuesday morning?
He gets in Monday at like, I think 5:30 or 6, and I get in Monday at like 1:30 at LaGuardia. So
1:30 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Oh. What are you guys doing Monday night?
I mean, we don't really have...
Because let's look at that, because that could actually... fire you up for your meetings, right? Okay. For the next 2 days.
Oh, sure, man.
And it gives you something to discuss to your VC, because then they see, wait a minute, we just did a Facebook Live yesterday with a podcaster, right? It's like, dude, they see the hustle. They see the hustle, right? I don't know. That might be strategic, man.
If you wanna be there Monday night, like we can book it, man. Just let us know like when would be best for you, because we'll both be in town by 6 p.m.
Dude, I think that could be a very strategic advantage for you guys. Because Monday nights, I'm always working from home on Mondays and Fridays anyway. So a Monday night is never booked for me. If I lock that out so nobody can book me on podcasts, I'll just go into the city. We'll catch up in the evening. do a recording session. There's a Facebook Live. It gives him something to share to his feed on Facebook and stuff, right?
Okay.
And then when you go and meet with your VC the next day, it's like,
Sure.
they might, who knows, if they're following you guys and researching you, they might see that, look at this guy, man. He's already doing a Facebook Live in the city with some podcast dude. And I don't know, man. It's like a little.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's book it. So I'm gonna confirm with him exactly when he gets in, and then we'll nail down a time and a place.
Boom. See that? Great minds coming together. All right. Well, I'll let you get back to your Friday.
Enjoy your time tonight. It sounds like a fun time.
A lot of waxing. Actually, I'll probably be manning the grill and bringing all the meat for the cold weather, but I'll let everybody wax my stuff for me. I'll be the chef. They can just wax my gear. I'll be like that. So I just booked plane tickets out to Colorado. Man. So end of February into March, I'll be skiing in Vail. So if you need to get bored and want to come out and visit in Colorado, we got a 5-bedroom house, man.
No, in Vail you do.
No, my fiance's parents, their retirement home is next door in Edwards, Colorado. So it's like a 10-minute drive into Vail, and that's it. Right, so it's like, but they're members of this private ski club hotel thing. So we have free après every day, a happy hour and hot tubs, and I'm not used to it. Like I never did that. Yeah, I was like, oh darn, life's a bitch.
Dude, you're crushing it, man. You've got it going on. When you get married again? When's your date?
That'll be not this winter, but next winter in March. So up in Banff in Canada. So that's become very well, yeah, because we're doing the heli skiing wedding. So
oh my God, that's savage.
Did I tell you that? I guess not.
I don't think you told me that.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh my God.
Why would I spend money on a wedding? I was like, guys, we're getting in helicopters and going into the backcountry and skiing. Like, let's do this.
That's sick, dude. You are a straight savage, brother. So my boy lands at 2:40 on Monday. So we're golden for Monday night.
Dude, we could dine first and then go like record afterwards. Whatever. Let's lock that down. Let him and check his buddies. I mean, dude, you can have other people hanging out. We could have like a circle of like 3 or 4 people at the table if you wanted to.
So my boy, like, so Ryan though, the guy that we're staying with, like, he's the guy that we just did we were both groomsmen in his wedding in Playa del Carmen. Like, that guy's straight savage. He's on like his 4th company. He sold his company for $50 million to Groupon when he was like 26. Like the wedding was full of like.
I saw some of the photos you were sharing. I'm like, what is he doing?
Okay, like. You got CEOs, like, dude, his crew, like, there's a couple of us that are like his good buddies that like we partied and hung out in LA for years, and then like the rest of them are just like doing crazy shit.
That's awesome. Dude, we got to hang out, man. That's gonna be. I mean, in a controlled way, because you guys have to show up.
Yeah,
full powered on Tuesday. Full powered on Tuesday.
We're rolling into WeWork for like a 3-hour song and dance.
No, that's okay, man. Because that's how I roll, man. Like, I can party, but I also know when to get the shit done, right? So like Monday night, I would love that to be like a steam builder for you guys.
Got it done, baby.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I'm stoked for it. Let's call it. I'll put in a time in the email. We'll figure out a place, but we'll call it like 6 p.m. or whatever. We'll get it.
Yeah, and again, if he wants some of his, it doesn't have to be just you and him. And that's up to you guys. Think about the strategy. In the end, dude, my device, I have the ability to support 4 microphones on my recorder.
That's
so
badass, man.
You could have multiple people hanging out, and the good thing is these are dynamic mics. So like, I've done live recording right near the Starbucks grinder, and you can barely hear them grinding coffee, right? So these microphones are good.
I'm going to pick your brain on like some like tech upgrades if I'm going to do more conversations and stuff. I'm like super basic with like this scenario right now.
Oh, email me your address. Don't worry about it.
My physical address?
Yeah. I got something for you.
You guys, because I never know how I sound because I'm just using this, and then I'm going to have a lav, but
did you do all this on the iPhone today, or were you using your computer?
I use my computer, actually.
Oh, perfect. I got something for you. So
okay. All right.
Just email me your address. So
all right, brother. Cool, man.
I'm a boy with my toys, and I take care of my co-hosts.
That's what it seems like. Seems like you got all these pictures.
Like, again, I don't sell companies for $50 million. Not yet.
Not yet, dude. Not yet.
But again, you don't need a lot of money to party hardy, man. So like
I believe that.
This heli skiing wedding, man, I was like, dude, I told her, I was like, ridiculous. you want me to get married? We're not doing a wedding.
That sounds crazy.
We're having a freaking adventure. So
wow, dude, that's nuts.
So the only problem is, like, I wanted to do the ring. Like, I wanted the helicopter to land. I wanted to have drones for video footage, and then we do the ring thing right there on the top of the mountain as the helicopter flies away. Yeah, I wanted to go straight up Red Bull on that shit.
Dude, Red Bull would be all over that.
Yeah, I want to one up Red Bull. Here's the problem.
Seriously, Red Bull would be all about that.
Hold on. Here's the universe. Drones are illegal in Canada.
I like so they're illegal?
Fuck yeah. So drones are illegal. The helicopter rides, like her parents want to go heli skiing too, but they don't want to go to the hard mountain with us. They want to go to the other mountain next door. So I got to fly people separately. I can't get my because I ski race coached for 11 years. So one of my fellow coaches, I was going to have her get ordained because she'll be here tomorrow night. She'll be here tonight hanging out. I was going to have her ordained. Can't do that in Canada. I got to use some local person. I was like, oh, you guys are freaking breaking up my adventure. So I'm not giving up. We're still figuring this shit out. But yeah, I don't know. Planning weddings in Canada, man. So we may, I was actually going to try and do the ceremony at the helipad now. But now they fly other groups out at the same time. So I can't do it there, but they said right next door, there's a restaurant with a huge deck and like a view of the mountains. So I was like, you know what? We can do the ceremony there. And then everybody gets in their different helicopters and goes skiing. So that might be the next backup plan. So either way, we're involving marriage and helicopters.
Dude, that's sick. I love it. All right, man. Hey, I'll let you go and do your thing tonight. And I'm going to send you this email and then we'll get talking.
Send me your event links so I can put that in the blog content. Send me your address so I can ship you a little toy. And then, let's stay separate thread and we'll figure out Monday night there in February.
All right. Right on, brother.
All right, brother.
All right.
See you later.